the Family Podcast episode for July 1st, where we will review all things World Cup that happened today, preview what happens tomorrow. We also might actually talk about a little bit of soccer news today that it occurs to me might be important. Some big things happened today in the EPL. So, but I'm your host, Nick Butowski. Along with me is my son Axel and my son Luke, and I want to take a moment for those people watching the video to explain why we're wearing what we're wearing. Obviously, we have our kits behind us. I'm wearing a USA hat. I'm wearing an England kit. Our grandparents are English, so we have an affinity to England, maybe more so than any other country, depending on who you ask, maybe. But obviously, we're Americans as well. Axel, you have the USA kit he's representing. We were at the game tonight in Santa Clara, and we'll be talking about it shortly. And Luke has his beloved Belgium on. We don't understand why Luke has loved Belgium all his life, but he has. One of our fondest memories is sitting in a pub in Scotland watching the Belgium-Japan match of, what was that, 2018?
Yeah.
And Luke praying as they came back against Japan, as he was today in another amazing comeback for Belgium.
Yes.
But Luke, why don't you tell us two bits of it? Well, we should mention for those people who are watching on YouTube, Luke is holding our Whippet puppy named Zola, after Gianfranco Zola. By the way, tidbit of information, our other dog, a Doberman, is named Cruyff. It should not need explanation as to why. So Zola will be joining us for today's podcast. Luke, why don't you tell us some big EPL news today? What happened at Forest? What happened at Newcastle Spurs? And what are your thoughts?
All right. So I'll just go with Newcastle. Firstly, they have sold Sandro Tonali to Tottenham Hotspur, and they've acquired a winger from the Ivory Coast for $50 million. I forget his name. Tottenham also got Mateus Fernandes from West Ham, so they've spent $185 million in just one day. Big day for Spurs stealing our players from Newcastle. At Nottingham Forest, they sacked
Vitor Pereira
and hired Oliver Glasner
from Crystal Palace fame. Axel?
It's a mystery why Sandro Tonali wanted to go to Tottenham.
Pay rise.
Well,
they have a good team now.
We'll see. People thought Spurs were good last year. We'll see.
Yeah.
That was the news. We're obviously EPL fans. We're going to bring you up tidbits of information and transfer news as it comes in, relevant to the European 5 big leagues and maybe some others. But let's move on to today's review of World Cup action. We are going to start with our beloved England. The 4th-ranked English took on the 46th-ranked Dr. Congo, or DR Congo.
Dr. Congo.
Dr. Congo. I'm a doctor, so I get to say that. So...
Safe to say.
Wow. I mean, I think, Axel, you predicted yesterday that DR Congo would go up 1 and that England would come back. Who is our hero? Yes, it is. Harry Kane. So Sapenga embarrassed England's defense early on in the 7th minute, getting them confused and going through both center backs. In essence, I don't think Anderson pressed, didn't cover. And then Sapenga got between the two center backs, and Jed Spence was sort of everywhere. And the commentators, I think, inappropriately blamed Jed Spence for being out of position, but it was actually all of the other people that were out of position. In essence, England's defense has looked cavalier to date and remained cavalier. But then, luckily, England did go on to press and try to score lots of goals. There should have been a penalty, in my opinion, to Harry Kane. Yeah, actually,
Madueke got hit in the face.
Got shoved in the face in the box early in the first half, and then why don't you tell us, Harry Kane goes, what happened to Harry Kane that you think should have been a penalty, Luke?
Oh, he got, he actually fell on his own foot, but then took another step and then his foot got swiped out.
Yeah, I think he kind of held up because he knew if he had gone into the tackle full speed as the keeper's coming down to block the ball, if Harry Kane doesn't stop or slow
Zlatan
up,
said it was a penalty.
he would have been flung into a somersault kind of neck-breaking action. And yeah, everybody on Fox was confused why it's a penalty. If it wasn't a penalty, I was ready to lose the gasket.
Zlatan.
But yeah,
If you didn't watch
go
If you
ahead.
didn't watch the game, Zlatan said it was a penalty, so it must mean it's a penalty.
Yeah. England then went on though to have Harry Kane score twice in the 75th and 86th minute. So that brings his total tally up for the tournament to 5 goals. I think England owned this game statistically. They knew they'd face a low block from DR Congo, but their expected goals was 2.16 versus 0.77 in the DR Congo. Expected goals on target actually for England was even better at 2.5. So I do think England deserved to win this game. Whether they're up to face Mexico next in the Azteca on Sunday, we will see. They're going to have to get their heads out of their butts defensively, and now Thomas Tuchel gets to earn his keep. But that we'll save for a preview the other day. Any other comments on this match, Axel or Luke? I've kind of dominated the conversation because I'm a huge England fan and was very upset that this wasn't more of a stroll in the park, so to speak, but I wasn't necessarily expecting one. I'm glad it ended well.
I'd just like to, I thought DR Congo played well until obviously Harry Kane scored. But I'd like to give a shout out for their goalkeeper because I thought he played really well and was a brick wall.
Yeah, the keeper, what was his name? Mbasi, right? Played pretty well for DR Congo. Mpasi,
Mpasi, New Zealand.
Yeah, so, yeah, 6 people on DR Congo with EPL experience, so they weren't put off by England, but frankly speaking, who is scared of England these days?
I do have something to say.
Yeah, go ahead.
As for the comment about Mexico, I do think they will perform better as they did against DR Congo because I think England do better against better teams, and I think that Mexico will come out to play, and that will play into England's favor.
Hopefully, I hope you're right. We'll move on to game 2, Belgium versus Senegal. This is a game we watched en route to Santa Clara to see the U.S. Luke, why don't you give us the brief rundown of what happened in this game?
Belgium was the best team.
Yeah, okay.
Senegal,
for the last 20 minutes.
Senegal dominated until they fell asleep and Lukaku scored, and then the momentum changed and Senegal couldn't keep up with Belgium, and Belgium won.
Well, I think, statistically, Senegal owned this, and then they were owning it. They scored in the 24th, the 51st minute. Ismaila Sarr scored at the 51st minute. And frankly speaking, it looked like a really comfortable win for them. But then I think what happened was the Senegalese manager took off some of the best players, including Sarr and Mane. And the Belgian manager, Rudy Garcia, took off De Bruyne and Doku early, and everybody thought, oh, this game's over. But instead, Lukaku scores in the 86th, Tielemans scores in the 89th, and it's 2-2. We go to extra time.
Good pen.
And then a penalty that was kind of soft, but a pen is a pen is a pen. But if that's a pen, then Harry Kane should have had a pen, right?
Okay, yeah, I agree.
So Belgium comes back and wins 3-2 in another epic comeback.
And they played the U.S. next.
And they play the U.S. next. Statistically here, just to let you know, Senegal had an expected goals of 3.6, while Belgium had an expected goal of 1.75. So again, the Senegalese, on paper, as far as that one single stat, did look better. If you look at expected goals on target, it was in favor of Belgium, so they were a little bit more clinical in their finishing.
Belgium don't need stats.
I just think if you look at the passing and how the total passes went, Senegal was ahead till the 80th minute, and then the game finished with 701 passes for Belgium versus 639 for Senegal. So the Senegalese basically lost their heads, and I think the manager cost them the game by making substitutions that were meant to try not to lose rather than to continue and make sure you win. It's basically that if you have your foot on someone's throat, you don't ease up, is my opinion.
Yeah.
But Axel, anything to add? You were watching this game in the car with us on the way down to Santa Clara and cheering Belgium along for your brother, or did you want Senegal to win?
No, I wanted Belgium to win to make Luke happy. I thought Senegal definitely dominated the game, of course, until they didn't when Belgium scored their first goal. Lukaku was it a header?
Yeah, Lukaku.
Yeah, it was Lukaku. So.
Yeah.
No, it's not a header.
Was it a header?
Oh no, it wasn't a
Tielemans
header.
was a header.
Yeah. Lukaku scored first, but yeah.
Yes.
So anyway, we'll move on to our next game that we are reviewing, a game we were at in Santa Clara and President 4 and ended 2-0 in the U.S.'s favor. Axel, you want to do a shout out to someone you saw in the stadium first, though?
Yeah, a huge shout out to Marlon, Lacey, and Jason. You may know them. They're all streamers. They were very nice. I got a photo with them. Good. You probably can't see. They were good sports, and they were very fun to watch the game by because of all their chanting.
Yeah, it was an interesting atmosphere in Santa Clara, I gotta say. You guys have seen games and matches in this country for a number of clubs from around the world, including when we were at the Club World Cup last summer, and we've seen and been fortunate enough to see games overseas. What did you make of the environment in Santa Clara, especially when contrasted with what we saw on television last night in Mexico City? What do you think, Ax?
I think there are a lot of people who really wanted to be there, and some were just there to be there. There was a couple who brought their baby to the game.
Which is cool.
They must have really wanted to go to bring a newborn.
Yeah, baby was a newborn. Luke, what were your thoughts on the environment?
I thought it's...
We should know, we've been to 4 other matches at Santa Clara. I don't think this was really particularly different. What did you make of it?
I thought it had its highs and lows. I thought sometimes when the U.S. was doing really well, people would cheer a lot, and then when maybe they were out of possession, they would just yell out the ref.
Yeah, I gotta say, obviously we're European connected, and the reality was it was a strange and yet expected atmosphere in terms of there were, as Axel said, definitely fans who wanted to be there, and there were a lot of people who were just there to be seen. A lot of people in U.S. kits, a lot of people not in U.S. kits, and I think that made for an atmosphere where there were no ultras in the stadium. There was no one fan group or section leading chants, so there were a number of chants around the stadium, and it was kind of different where you're in a stadium full of American fans, but when we had seen the Swiss or the Austrians and people, or even the Jordanians and the Qataris, sorry, there was a little bit more atmosphere in those games. However, I will say that when Balogun was red carded, it did unite the stadium and united the team, frankly.
To chant at the ref.
Yeah, the chant at the ref to bond with each other, and so that was kind of special. But
obviously,
I think
Tillman's goal was great.
Yeah, no, and Tillman's goal when the free kick, but we'll get there. Anyway, long story short, the atmosphere for U.S. soccer could work on that, making sure that this is why you want to have ticket prices that are accessible for fans, not just people who can afford it. We're lucky enough to be, I think, both, but I think it's important, like we see in England, that sections and seats are reserved for people who come from all economic strata. Anyway, that's my 2 cents on the atmosphere. Let's talk about the game. Luke, why don't you lead us off in terms of what you think happened here?
I thought U.S. had better chances, but possession-wise, it was even. I thought Balogun's goal. Well, Balogun first.
Take us through what happened.
First, Balogun had an offside goal. Then Balogun had a goal that counted.
That was kind of messy.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure the Bosnia defender hit it with his foot into another Bosnia defender in the box, and it fell to Balogun.
Yep.
And he scored. And then
the red card happens.
Yeah, and then the red card happens, which I think was actually a red card. Looking at the pictures now.
Well, yeah, let's talk about it. So Balogun comes up from behind a Bosnian player, sort of cleats his calf and then steps on his ankle. When you look at it we haven't been able to watch the highlights yet, so when you look at it as a still, it looks bad, but in real time, I think common sense prevails, and it's a yellow. It's stupid on Balogun's part to be in that position that it is reckless.
I don't think he meant it.
But I don't think it's a red. But it was a gutsy call, and if that's a red, then why didn't Harry Kane get a penalty? All you ask is for consistency. I just don't think that was consistent today.
Yeah.
So. Refs have been generally pretty good at letting them play. Today, I think the ref failed. But anyway, Tillman then, I think, what happened to cause the free kick that Tillman then put in? I think Dest was dribbling across the box.
Something.
It was fouled.
Something like that. And then Axel actually filmed Tillman's goal. It was a great free kick, and then everyone celebrated and cheered, and then that kind of... The game just kind of slowed down.
Great free kick from Bosnia's right side, just outside the 18-yard box, put in. We were right there to see it. It was a wonderful goal. And again, then the U.S., I got to give them credit. They're off. Don't you think, Axel, that their off-the-ball movement was even great before the red card, but certainly after the red card when they were down to 10, they really were compact and defended as a unit. Yeah. What impressed you about how they played defensively tonight?
I mean, I'm surprised that Bosnia did not have many attacks on the U.S. defense. They did move very well off the ball.
Pretty sure Bosnia had more shots than the U.S.
It was even.
But
8-8.
Bosnia didn't score, did they? So that's something the U.S. did better. So
I think I was impressed that the U.S. was able to defend and not lunge and not make stupid tackles and really get on the same page. Again, after the red card, I thought it united the team, it united the stadium in a way that it was similar, not the same, similar to what we witnessed with the Mexican team, and the Mexican crowd just all being on the same page. It was special, and I appreciate that. So as a U.S. fan, that's their only second win in a World Cup knockout a game. So again, we're lucky to have witnessed it, and we hope we hope they do well against Belgium. At least some of us do, and some of us hope that Belgium does well. Let's move on to previewing tomorrow, July 2nd. Just to list the games real quick: Spain takes on Austria, Portugal takes on Croatia, and Switzerland takes on Algeria. First up is the Spanish, second-ranked in FIFA, versus the Austrians, 24th. We've had the benefit of watching Austria live. Axel, what do you think is going to happen here?
Spain, I think, will win. They have a stronger squad. They have probably a better coach. I'm not saying Wagner isn't bad, but
Ralf Ragnick and Louis Stieler.
Yeah. Of course, anything could happen. Spain tied Cape Verde in the group stage. I'm on Austria's side. I loved watching them play. So I hope Austria win, but I think Spain takes it over quality player.
Well, Austria with Ralf Ragnick as their manager presumably will press, right, Luke? And we'll see who starts up top, whether Arnautovic or Sasa Kolasinac, and how much he wants that press. That's going to be interesting for the Spanish, because I think thus far they've kind of underperformed. And they, don't necessarily have a world-class striker. Don't you think?
Sasa.
Well, Zabal is there for Spain. but and Fernan Torres, but yeah, and they're both good, but they're not great. And maybe Lamine Yamal has to show up in this game to really ensure Spain move on. I could see an upset happening here. What do you think, Luke? It's lose or go home, or win or go home.
Spain need to get their crap together. I think that. I can also see it going both ways. I just don't see it. I don't see Austria winning because I think Spain's the type of team. Just if they're gonna lose, they're gonna lose well. They're gonna try their hardest no matter what because they want to win. They want to win the entire tournament. So I just I don't.
We'll see. They're not firing on all cylinders yet. We will see what happens tomorrow. Let's move on to the next game, which is probably the game of the day. The 5th-ranked Portuguese take on the 11th-ranked Croatians. Luke, what's going to happen here? Who do you think's going to do what?
I think Portugal will win. I think they'll win barely though. I think it'll be a tough game where both teams are playing for it. I think Portugal win 2-1. I think it's very close, but I think overall you can see that. I think Portugal is going to get their mojo in this game.
And I think Portugal's going to get their mojo. Is Ronaldo going to play the whole game?
No. I think he'll play like 70 or 80 minutes.
He's played all of the 3 prior games, so we'll see. Axel, what do you think is going to happen?
I think it's a tight game. Portugal, obviously, I'd say, like I've said before, not playing up to the standard I think they should be playing at. Croatia did lose to England, who are better than Portugal, but Portugal and England are on the same level. I see in this game either team could win, but I want Portugal to win, but I'm going with Croatia based off of Portugal's poor performances in the group stage. Obviously, they beat Uzbekistan and tied Colombia,
But Colombia was dominant.
Yeah, Colombia was dominant.
Yeah, I kind of agree. I don't know. I think that the Croatians remain wily and crafty and like Spain, except worse. Portugal has not. Well, Portugal hasn't impressed, and they should, right? I think their weakness is their manager. I think Roberto Martinez only has plan A, and it involves Ronaldo, who we all love in this household, but sometimes Ronaldo is not the answer. You have a midfield that is awesome with Vitinha and Neves, and great fullbacks. I don't understand why they can't switch it up. Yeah, go ahead.
I think I saw this like a couple of days ago. The entire Portuguese midfield has created 3 chances, and Pedri's created 5.
Yeah, it's just unacceptable that's happening. What were you going to say, Ax?
Yeah, I was going to say as well as Luke, I know Portugal on paper definitely have the best midfield in the tournament. At least that's what I think, and I think you guys do.
Well, you have Fernandes, who had 20 assists, 21 assists in the EPL, the record. So, and then you have Vitinha and Neves, who are from the PSG, right? So, yeah, if Portugal shows up, Portugal wins. If Portugal keeps playing like they've been playing, Croatia wins because they will find a way. But we will see.
Okay.
Next game is maybe the dud of the day, but you never know because we said that about Austria and Algeria when they played in the group stages, and that was an exciting game. But it's Switzerland number 19 against the Algerians at number 28. We were also lucky enough to see the Swiss play in person. Axel, how do you see this going? Is Riyad Mahrez from Algeria going to lead them over the Swiss, or are the Swiss going to, march on with Manzambi and Embolo leading the charge?
In this game, I see Switzerland winning, of course. Algeria have good players like Aït-Nouri and Mahrez. But Switzerland have a bigger squad depth, better players. They have
Xhaka Boum.
Yeah, they have Xhaka Boum. They had not necessarily a harder group stage, but I think they are prepared to understand that Algeria want to win, but I think they're prepared for that, and I think Switzerland take it.
Yeah, Luke, I think the Swiss players amongst most teams in the tournament have played the most internationals together. They've been together a long time. So what do you see happening here?
I can see it going both ways. It's just
really?
Whoever plays better. Yeah, I can see Algeria winning.
Algeria has a history of not doing great in knockout football for reasons that are unclear to me, but they play within themselves. I see Switzerland with an easy 2-0 win. Monzambi is a beast and has been a nice diamond, one of those people who I think might make a name for himself in this tournament, along with who am I thinking of from Morocco, the 6?
Oh, Bouadi.
Bouadi, yeah, he's a class player and only 18 years old. So anyway, we'll see what happened. Those are our 3 previews. We'll be back with you tomorrow to review those games and preview what will happen on Friday, which is the last day of the round of 32. And then we'll move on. We hope you're enjoying this content. It's, again, just meant as a brief preview of ongoing events in the World Cup, as all things football are central to that at the moment. But we will bring you tidbits of news as they happen in other leagues and such as they unfold over the summer. And we hope you're enjoying this. But we always end on what, Luke, did you think your highlight of the day today was?
Belgium winning that Tielemans penalty.
What a win. What a win for the Belgian. Allez la Belgique. Axel, what was your highlight of the day?
Well, I had 2 highlights today. I had England obviously winning. How could that not be great? And meeting the streamers at the USA game was pretty fun.
Yeah, my highlights of the day are tied. I think being part of the crowd and watching the US win their second knockout route game in World Cup history was great, but it's hard to see past the emotion of Harry Kane scoring 2 goals and basically saying with his eyes to the ref, "Yes, I am Harry Kane. I do not dive, and you did not get in my way of making sure we won." So I think that was my moment of the day. Who's my hero? Harry Kane. This is All Things Football, and yes, it is football to us. Football is life. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you tomorrow.
And you should always call it football.